Okay, now we can stop with the language and we can go on with the little show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes with a new type of murdering the hit that I wasn't quite aware that we were into, but here we are. Hello, Myra J. How are you?
I'm doing amazingly well. How's everyone else?
Amazingly well. Oh,
Yes,
thank you. Good, good, good,
yes.
good. Young Quinn, how are you with your new look on life?
I'm doing good. I'm excited because J13 is around the way. Happy early Founders Day to all my sorors. I'm feeling devastating. I'm feeling filled with fortitude. I'm
You
feeling very
feeling devastating?
devastatingly different.
Oh, okay.
And I'm feeling decadent in drive. I was trying to figure out another D word, couldn't figure it out.
And
Daring.
Daring and driven and devastatingly. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Very good. Very good. What anniversary is this for DST? Delta Sigma
Well,
Theta.
120 years. I think this Friday. I think we'll be around for 120 years of dedication.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Lucky
What a
Friday.
historic day. Very lucky Friday. The world got a little bit greater.
It's 100. No, it's 90. It's
Oh,
90.
110.
110. 110.
Mhm.
2013.
True. See, this is where my IEP comes in, y'all. This is where the IEP comes in. My math sucks.
Two, two, 2013 was 100, and so I didn't
Like,
mean to open that phone for him.
sorry,
J.
man.
Anthony Brown, we're doing a little show. Sorry about that.
Oh my gosh.
And happy early birthday to the X-Man Xavier, who is going to be sharing his birthday with his mom's sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, and so I think Xavier is going to be like 20 years old. Good Lord.
That's nice.
Xavier Ingram is going to be 21. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So for all the folks that remember when Xavier was born on the Joyner Show, yeah, 21. Hello, Stephen Hill.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How's the weather?
Uh, uh, it has stopped raining. Noah put away his little boat. And I think we're good for right now for another
Okay.
15, 20 minutes here in
Okay.
California.
Okay. Well, we'll see how long we can keep you dry and in the flow of the show. We appreciate you joining us. Let's talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter, Kwyn Townsend Riley. This is our Monday through Friday effort to super serve the African American community. And it is incumbent upon Kwyn as our LGBTQ plus contributor to talk about the issues for which she represents in her community. And Kwyn, Oklahoma is in the news again for transgender care or lack thereof. What do you have to tell us about the fine state of Oklahoma?
This bill is different than other bills that I've covered because this one is prohibiting gender affirming care for adults. They want to prohibit gender affirming care for those who are under the age of 26 years old. So Senate Bill 129 was introduced by Republican Senator David Bullard on last week, Wednesday, that would prohibit medical professionals in the state from providing gender affirming care to anyone under 26 years old. The bill also prohibits providers or hospitals who provide such care from receiving government funding and allows individuals to pursue legal action up to 40 years after receiving gender affirming care, a clause designed to encourage
Wow.
people who regret transitioning, like the new right wing darling
Mm-hmm.
Cole, to go after doctors who Republicans like David Bullard claim are mutilating other kids. So a medical provider who still offers gender affirming care to those under 26 could be guilty of a felony, which in Oklahoma carries penalties including a $1,000 fine or 2 years in prison. And as many previous bills have sort of reference to, Bullard also carves out an exception for non-consensual surgeries performed on intersex children. And so intersex children are children that are born with both parts, where parents can have the choice to
Wow.
remove one organ or not without the child's consent. So though Republicans have been inching towards criminalizing gender affirming care for adults at least since last year, this bill is the most extreme measure yet. to see the light of day. And he has titled it the Milestone Act of 2023, which he actually references the Bible, Luke 17:2, which says, better for him if a millstone is hung around his neck and he is thrown into the sea than to cause children to sin.
Two questions for you. First of all, did they choose the age of 26 because that is the limit in which young people can stay on their parents' insurance, like for Obamacare?
I wish I could say he was that smart, but I'm not that sure, and I do not want to give him that much credit.
Okay.
Good question.
And the second question is, as goes Oklahoma, do they think will, or do you think the rest of the country will go, especially those conservative states?
I think gender affirming care is definitely on the top of the conservative agenda. Like I talked about in my last article, how not even conservative agenda, this is something that's a part of agendas on both sides of the House. Lots of Democrats, Black Democrats specifically, agree with conservatives on gender transition, gender affirming care. So this is something that really can get passed easily without anybody really expressing loud opposing views, because a lot of folks agree with it. So I do see more folks really clicking copy and paste in their own states. Before we know it, it's going to be illegal for folks to be themselves and to have control over their own body.
And I'm sorry, Myra, did you have a question?
No.
Oh, I also wanted to know when that intersex care and the intersex changing takes place, at what age are children allowed, or are they of age to give their consent to something like this happening, to go with one sex or another? Do you know?
I've just started following. I was just introduced to intersex a couple of years ago myself. It was something I never even heard of. But there are a few mobilizers and like activists that have started taking and championing this effort. And from what I've been told, there isn't an issue on specific age, but more so that the choice was never actually properly given. And so there's an intersex advocate by the name of Pigeon in Chicago that really has been championing this, and that talks about how they were never given the choice on if they want to be a boy or a girl. Their parents chose them to be a boy. And before they knew it, when they started developing, estrogen, and just really started naturally having this type of dual effect in terms of their gender identity, they had to discover on themselves on their birth certificate, that they originally were born, with both parts of their body. So I can't imagine the type of work it takes on a parent to conceal like a decision like that. And I can't imagine the type of confusion a child might experience knowing that their body was, that they had this procedure before they even had choice, to figure out exactly what they wanted to do. Because essentially parents are saying, we want this child and they're going to grow up this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, last question for me. And Stephen Hill, feel free if you have something that you want, because you look like you're about ready to
It is. It's okay. It's a new year, friend. It is okay.
He's like, Steve?
No, I heard you. You said you had one more question.
No, you go. You go.
I don't have questions. I don't have a question.
You have thoughts?
My thoughts stay the same. Now, the intersectional part throws in something. And I apologize if I used the old term. Intersectionals are the same as is that hermaphrodites? What we used to call hermaphrodites?
Where they were born with this, with each
born with both.
Boy,
that's the word. Okay.
Right. Male and female organs.
Yes, we old people used to refer to them as hermaphrodites. Intersectional feels like it's a much better term than that is. But look, I remain true that I want everybody to be the person they want to be, act the person they want to be. I'm just concerned when it happens too young. Now, intersectionals, it happened to them too young, so that's different. My challenge there is with the parents who didn't let them know. Like nobody should be walking into having estrogen flow through their body and not know that at some point in time they were an intersectional hermaphrodite. That doesn't sound like good parental care to me. That's all.
And it's intersex, not like intersection at a traffic stop.
Got it. Yeah, intersex. Cool.
I just want people to know when they say. But yeah. I think it's I know it's an interesting contradiction to to say at one point like somebody's too young to have happened to them, and at another point somebody's too young to make a decision. And like this emphasis on age is like really, really interesting to me. But the fact that they did choose under 26, and, you know, Sybil, you told me something I didn't know, in terms of that age when children are no longer, or when youth are no longer on their parents' insurance.
I also like to throw out that is the generally right around the generally accepted age where that good old prefrontal cortex closes. 25, 26 is also that time that I've referred to a few times on the show.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll bring somebody in to talk about it.
And the other question that I had is about the well, it's become a known argument between the parents of the daughter of Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, and the argument that his ex-wife is taking them to court over about her part in this decision for this young person. What is she, about 12, 13 years old, maybe? And making the transition. And so it's opening up a whole new area of discussion regarding which parent is able to help this child or to be the decision maker in something like this. And is it something that a parent just might kind of throw something in to try to create some drama, or is it something that both sides are equally, or at some point equally, concerned about and want to help their child through this? There's just so much here, Kwyn, when you talk about divorce with parents and who has the ability to make these decisions or to help their children with the decision makings and follow through on it. There's so much to this, but thank you for bringing this forth, and keep an eye on this bill as well as we said, as it goes around the country, because it's something that we should be discussing, obviously.
Yes. Cute.
Also in the What You Need to Know newsletter, talking about things that we talk about that super serve the African American community. Obviously, this is something that is of great concern. What's going on in California? I dare say all of us have friends or family in the state of California, including one who is there right now, talking about the horrific weather and the different changes in weather, snow in the mountains, and just incredible rivers created as a result of the rain, sometimes as much as an inch a minute. People have lost lives. I'm not sure, Stephen Hill, but I referenced in the story about a mother who was driving in her truck. A crew managed to save the mother, but the little boy was ripped from the truck, and they were searching for his body, and they found his shoe yesterday. But it's first of all, you just can't imagine, and it was referenced during the Golden Globe Awards that, you know, how much rain there was out there and how people were unable to make it to the awards. But it's just frightening to see how just roadways and mudslides and landslides and power lines down, and people without power, and they're asked to shelter in place if you're high enough. And Steve, how has this affected you?
Well, look, I'm in Southern California, Los Angeles, and it hasn't been as bad here. Central California, Montecito, Santa Barbara has really gone through it. And it's exacerbated by the fact there have been so many wildfires, and wildfires burn up the trees, and trees, it makes the ground weak. So when you get this much rain, it really does mudslides. Now, there's a mudslide, and I think this did make national news. There's a mudslide took out a part of Mulholland Drive, which is very, very, and the part it's taken out is very, very close, almost literally a stone's throw from where we are. And so while it's affected us, but nowhere near here in Los Angeles that it has in uptown. Like, I'm driving on Santa Monica Boulevard right now, and it feels like everything's like really back to normal. And there's still a lot of not back to normal in Central California. And I've never seen, I will say this, I've been in a lot of rain. I've never seen it rain as hard as it did here about 11 o'clock yesterday during the day. I've never been in a rain that heavy. It's crazy.
And the way the soil is there because California is still some, at least Southern California, a bit of a desert. It can't absorb the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not made for that, and so that's why it floods so quickly, and just like Stephen
The
said,
runoff, yeah.
with
And
the fires
also
and stuff,
something
it's
about the way
terrible.
that the fires have affected the
Hmm.
land as well, prevents it from soaking it up too.
Yep.
And so I mean, you can't win. It's like, the
Yep.
fires in the summer, I'm so sorry, and now the rains in the winter.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable.
But I will say this: look, and everybody says, "Oh, there's been a drought." Well, this will solve the drought. This doesn't come
Mm,
close to solving the drought, right?
right.
A lot of this moisture is not going to seep into the ground. To your
Hmm.
point, it's
Yep.
going to run off. It's going to run right back into the oceans, and so it's not really, it's better than nothing. That's for sure.
Hmm.
But it does not solve kind of a decade-long drought.
Right. Other things in the in the What You Need to Know newsletter, talking about the sister mayor of St. Louis. Her name is Tashara Jones, and she has announced her support of the approval of a $93 million spending designed to transform long struggling neighborhoods, especially the Black neighborhoods on the north side of St. Louis. She's in her first term, and she is about the business of bringing St. Louis back to life, not only in rehabbing the neighborhoods, but in training the people who live there to work there and to not just expect things to be done for them, obviously, but to be a part of the solution in rehabbing and construction and other things that they need in those neighborhoods. Last year, they budgeted more than $50 million in pandemic aid to renovate dilapidated housing and jumpstart business development. And this $93 million, they hope to go to the same thing. And she's getting a lot of attention, especially from more progressive Democrats, such as the senator from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. And if she's getting that kind of attention, then you may see her name mentioned in the upcoming elections and what role she might play in Democratic politics. So keep that name in mind. Tashara Jones is her name. And lastly, of course, as we want to remind people, this is the day that we feature a person who is missing from the Black and Missing Foundation. And this one is asking for anyone with information about this young man who has been missing since December 17th of last year. His name is Caden. He was last seen in his home in Wrightsville, Pennsylvania. He is biracial. His complexion is light. He's 5'10", 160 pounds. Take a look at his picture in the What You Need to Know newsletter. And if you have any information on the whereabouts of Caden, who has been missing since for the last couple of months, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation and give them information. He was last seen the day before he was scheduled to show up for his job with a moving company. And so he is 19 years old, and we want to help, of course, to bring families back together. And we hear enough about the disappearances of young white people, but not so much about people that look like us. So that is the Black and Missing Foundation. We want to do our part in helping them every week in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Please go to SybilWilkes.com to subscribe, and it is still free in 23. Like to say that. And we would love to have you join us here as a part of the What You Need to Know news crew.
Yeah.
All right. So the question of the day, what's really going on? We had a lot of response yesterday to our question that Yolanda mentioned, I believe, to Myra. We're not going to repeat that, but we are going to revisit it perhaps with you guys at another time. And that was, what are your pet peeves? We had a lot of response to that. But I'm curious about this social media trend of pranking people and your family members regarding celebrity deaths. This is TikTok. Most people can recall where they were or what they were doing when they found out that their favorite celebrity died. For instance, I'll always remember I was in Atlanta in a hotel when Michael Jackson died, and standing in the bar area as they were telling the story. Perhaps, Steve, you can remember where you were that day. I believe it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday.
It was a Thursday.
It was a Thursday.
It's a Thursday before the Sunday of the BET Awards.
Right. There you go. There you go. So you were hard at work on that, and then all of your work changed as a result of that. Myra, do you remember when one of your like when Prince died? Do you remember where you were?
Yes, I was at home, and I think it was you that actually texted me, because it was two rumors. Remember, it was one like what, maybe a week before he actually passed. Yeah, and you
And this time it was for real. So Kwyn, I don't know if you have taken part in this TikTok trend where kids will tell their parents or an adult, so and so died, a famous celebrity death, but would you remember this moment if somebody did this to you? And also talking about this, it became big news when a recent Golden Globe winner, Angela Bassett, put her son on timeout because her teenage son, Slater, came to her and told her that Michael B. Jordan had died. And she was so angry when she found out. She was hurt, first of all, because following in the footsteps of, or following in the death of Chadwick Boseman, and then how could this possibly happen? Then he told her that it was a joke, and she made him go on on social media and apologize to people for being a part of this silly trend. So just wanting to know what your thoughts are on this trend, and secondly, what would you be doing about this if you had a young person or somebody who did this to you? Is it funny?
Oh, come on now. We know this. First of all, I don't.
Do you believe it?
I am highly supportive of this trend. I got to tell you, I think taking somebody's death and making fun of it and scaring parents and scaring your family is a great thing to do. It's the number one way you should get to humor. Of course, it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like
it is so not funny, and I don't know if this is like a Black culture thing. You don't play with the death. You don't play with death.
You don't play that.
You don't even speak the words out of your mouth. You don't claim that.
Right.
Period. So no, I don't think it's funny. And any child of mine or anyone being raised in my household would regret the day. Now that's something that they would always remember. And I remember that time my grandma almost choked me out because I said, that's just what would happen.
Kwyn, I see you nodding in agreement with Myra.
Yeah, just because I know my mom, and is one of the things that we all know is that my mom's not sarcastic. Her humor is very, I think I only saw her really chuckle once, and that had to be like either at a Bernie Mac episode or like something that Richard Pryor said. So like what she finds funny, she would never find this funny. And I think just at the age that I'm at, and even knowing the age that she's at, death is so real that it's just like, if I were to say anybody, it really would be digested and really just taken physical. And I wouldn't want that physical harm to my mom. Like that causes something like physical, like grief and mourning is also like, it's a physical response as well as something emotional. So I wouldn't want to put anybody through that. Just especially not for TikTok views. Like what? Who created this trend?
The very first Facebook post that I saw this morning, and this was not for chuckles, and it was a famous person who posted it, and they thought it was true. And literally, when I tell you, because this is a close friend of the Tom Joyner Morning Show, my heart skipped a beat, and I just went, "Oh my God!" And I immediately went to Google it, and then that's when people started posting, "No, he's alive and well." And I went to this person's page who had posted it, and they apologized profusely, saying, I should have known better, but I was so hurt. I went ahead and posted something that I had heard, and yeah, but it was going around Facebook this morning. So
Well, I will say, and I'm not sure if if we're talking about the same person, but Eddie Levert.
yeah,
It
that's what it was. Yeah.
It was Eddie Levert of the OJs and Eddie Levert Sr. And I did want to make mention of that because we came across posts that said I think MC Light posted said he is alive and well, thank God. And a lot of people like, where did this start? And like the other celebrity hoaxes, somebody starts with this and it just kind of snowballs. And luckily for us, you do know these people, and so oftentimes you can call and check on them. I remember before Sinbad got sick, there was that rumor about him as well. Roland Martin went on and said he immediately this was hitting his phone as he woke up, and he went and called Eddie and Raquel, and I was able to talk to Eddie and said this is a bunch of bull. But a lot of people are still posting, and so when you hear these things, everybody's so quick to, that's the thing, everybody wants to be first with the information, and it's not so much that you're first, but that you are accurate. Absolutely.
I mean, we'd like that to be the case, but that's not really
well,
the
that's
case.
my case.
I know that's and I think that is there's a generational difference, right? And there was
right, for sure.
And there was a media, was it what was the website that really started? I mean, TMZ is perfected.
TMZ, but they're usually
TMZ is perfected it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But there was a black website that was like, we kind of want to be first, and we hope
was
it's
it
right.
media? Was it
media takeout?
It
Not
was,
media. Was
I
it
thought it was media
takeout?
takeout.
I think
That's
you're
what
right.
I thought
That's
it was. Yeah.
And you got to remember these TikTok trends. Going back to that, like, it's not supposed to be funny. It wasn't supposed to be funny to Angela Bassett. Right. It was supposed to be funny or shocking or humorous to a whole bunch of people that her son didn't even know on TikTok. Like trying to impress people he didn't even know.
Trying to get likes. I don't understand the things people will do, just for likes,
Well, the things you do for love. There's Yolanda sent me a video which I thought was very funny, and I could not stop laughing. And it was a son. He did his work. He put together a video of an emergency alert saying that we had been attacked. The father's reaction was priceless to me. It was so funny, and the way he responded, I'm still laughing about it. But it was, in effect, the world's coming to an end, and how his dad is responding, and it was just very funny to me. But by the same token, that's death. That's saying, we're all going to die, and how the father responded to it. But this is something I don't get.
That feels different because it's not someone you know or care about that you for any moment think is dead, right? You're like, it's the impending doom, and there's you get to call that off like April Fools.
Right.
It's just different. Like, if somebody tells you your close friend is dying, and I apologize. I must jump. I let our producer know.
Okay.
I got therapy.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
Lord knows you need that. Okay.
That is the truth. Have a good week, y'all.
Take care.
You too. Well,
Yolanda, I don't know if we hang on a second, Myra. Okay. I don't know if we have responses to this and people's thoughts on the celebrity TikTok trend, the celebrity death trend. If you have any responses to that, yes, Myra.
Just let me say this: as an older person, don't be scaring me. Period. Period. It's not. Don't be jumping out the closet. Don't slide out from under my bed dressed as Jason. Like, oh, it'll be fun filming it. Don't do that. I don't even want the little butterfly birthday card where you open it up and the little butterflies pop out. No,
Myra, it's on a phone. It's like, it's just stuff comes.
No.
I'm kidding.
It's
right.
It's a 3D card, and they actually I did see some, and the little confetti was actually flying in people's mouths. Now that was funny.
I think fear can be funny sometimes too when I do see people's reactions to certain stuff. But
Mhm.
I don't think death is funny. Like that's
Right, exactly.
I don't. And just knowing that my mom was never a person that did like April Fools. Every year she would always say like, "Don't April Fools me." April Fools
Mhm.
friends, but like do not April Fools me. And so that just had always put like a taste in my mouth when April Fool's Day would come up, and I would see my friends, make pregnancy jokes or make whatever type of egregious joke, and I'm like, okay, this isn't funny. Like some people take it seriously, instead of people's reactions to like, I don't know, the world is ending. I probably would have found that video funny too.
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Um, Myra and I worked on a little radio show where they loved April Fool's Day. And I wasn't so crazy about it. And there was one April Fool's joke that I thought was very clever. The rest of them, not so much. There were very few of them that I thought was clever. I thought one where they arranged to have people believe that Tyler Perry was retiring and that they were doing auditions for a new Medea at the radio stations that we were heard on. So that was funny. There was also a time where we said that something happened and off the air, and we did never declared what it was. But I was just so angry that Jay would say and do something like this, and people were like, "Well, what did he say? What?" Well, I know whatever it was, Jay was wrong, and of course that appealed to me. So that was that kind of April Fool's Day joke. But
That's funny.
It was fun, and I thought it was clever. But it was sometimes it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I like doing the phone pranks too. I definitely had my own period of time when I was in elementary school, and I would phone prank people like *67 and like be a restricted number and like hang up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess being Black, like maybe I'm just allergic to pranks and like just certain type of humor where it's just like, that's not even funny. That's some white people stuff, I guess, at this age. I don't know.
So speaking of prank calls,
Yes.
did you hear the story that the kid who is accused of the 4th of July slaughter of people at the parade in suburban Chicago had a phone in his prison cell? And he called someone and pranked them and said, and this is how crazy it is, because it's so old, it's not funny now, nor was it funny then, but ask somebody, is your refrigerator running? Ha ha ha.
So you're gonna sneak a phone,
And that's
prison.
your one call.
Right? And that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
He's really a kid.
This was this past week. This happened.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. The guy's name is Cremo, and he's the 19-year-old shooter behind the massacre of people at the 4th of July parade and in Highland Park. And he said, he got how, first of all, it just asked so many questions. How do you get a hold of this phone? Why is it the first call you're making is a crank call or a prank call? And who would tell
double
this?
life.
Was it code word for something?
That's another good question. I don't know. I don't know. People were pretty much laughing at the ridiculousness
people
of it.
incarcerated who got phones. R. Kelly was able to post, after that leaked album came out. So people are able to get stuff in.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. But
where they call it.
You get this phone privilege and this is what you're gonna do. I don't know.
That's an old school joke.
and he's an old school joker, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so that came to mind talking about prank phone calls. And Myra, did you ever do prank phone calls when you were a kid?
No.
Could you all make fun with it?
My phone time was so limited as a kid growing up. No, I didn't have time to waste my good
back in my day.
Wait, because it took you 15 minutes to make a call anyway.
Oh, Kwyn, that's cold.
9, 8, 1, 9. I get off that phone. I didn't finish dialing.
Right, yeah.
That is funny. That was very funny. All right, so let's move to trending topics. Myra J., you have upcoming gigs that you're going to have stand-up shows you are doing?
Actually, this Saturday, I am with the one and the only J. Anthony Brown here in Atlanta. Look on Facebook. I think it's called the Ivy Center, 3850 Stone Road, Atlanta. That's
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Check it out. Check out
yeah,
Myra's
yeah. This is
Facebook
yeah.
page, and you'll find out the exact location, because I'm sure J. Anthony Brown has done something, but it's probably not quite right. Just saying.
Yeah. It's on
Uh,
his MySpace page. Yeah.
right.
I see.
Quinn, you have any areas of art, of your artistry, that you are going to be participating in?
Yeah, the next two are not public. I'm competing in a slam at Busboys and Poets. There's a prize to perform at the International Poetry Festival in Cuba in February. So I'm a finalist for that slam tomorrow. So hopefully I win. If
When
not,
do you find out? You find out tomorrow?
tomorrow I compete tomorrow for the
You
final.
could be going to
Cool.
Cuba.
I could be going to Cuba in
How
February.
cool is
Nice.
that?
Y'all won't see me again.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say,
yes.
will you return knowing your love of Cuba?
If I meet Asada, I will not. I will not. That is my Messiah. And Lord knows I will follow her anywhere. So if I do and I come back, I'm wearing my natural hair, I'm bald, just know I have seen it and I'm not sharing, the wonders of the world. But yes, that's tomorrow. And then February 4th, they're putting together a task force, and I'm pretty sure Cameron's going to write about it for the newsletter. But they're putting together a task force in Chicago to solve the unsolved murders of Black girls in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the pastors, one of the organizers of the event, has asked me to do a poem for that February 4th.
Nice.
So yeah,
That's very cool. Good for you.
Mhm.
So you'll let us know about the poetry slam in Cuba. All right.
Very nice.
Quinn, your school was in the news recently. The young teacher who was shot in the classroom by a 6-year-old is an alum of James Madison.
Yes. How coincidental and crazy is that?
How
This
crazy
is like
is that?
the same state has been brought up in the news several times, but
Right.
yeah, they brought it up at our staff meeting, and I saw she's still in stable condition, right?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I think it's actually really incredible to hear that she was able to save the
Her
students.
sense of a purpose for these children
Dedication. Yep.
and protecting them
Mhm.
was pretty amazing. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, that's just incredible to me. I don't know how anybody could do that after they're wounded, to have that type of sense of self and mind to be like, okay, everybody, let's exit the room.
And the calmness with which, because they said that he aimed the gun at her, it was a 9mm. He aimed the gun and shot, hitting her in her hand and her chest.
Mhm.
And still, she had the presence of mind to take those children out and guide them to safety, and then come back with this little boy. I don't know what they're going to do in this case. I don't know how how you take this case to trial unless it's against the parents. The mother did admit to having ownership of this gun. But so many questions come as a result of that case. And do we know that the teacher was a young white woman. Do we know about the child?
No, I haven't read anything. That's what I kept looking for too. They did ask another student for their perspective, and I kind of like got nervous because it was a Black student.
Mhm.
But he spoke so like vividly about how like all the children, got to safety, and then he said like in 2 minutes you just heard like wailing and like
Mhm.
and like lots of students were nervous about exactly like what was going on because nobody had told them what
Right.
like were the next steps. But yeah, so I guess the parent has the right to not release that information.
Well, because he's so young,
Right.
they will not.
Oh,
They
okay.
will not. What is it? I guess it's age of consent, 18.
Yeah.
In a case like
Right.
that, they will
They
not.
always protect the identity of the child.
Right.
Oh,
But identity of the baby. It's like, how crazy was this? Just unbelievable.
Yeah,
great day.
and they said, I think in that state that he is too young to even go to juvenile hall.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Absolutely.
don't know like what could have prompted it either, which I think is interesting, trying to figure out what happened beforehand, but we know what happened like after.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not a parent. I've never been. I have been in a position where I've sent children off to school in the morning. I know that when you are packing that child's backpack, you're looking in there, make sure you got your homework in your little folder, you got your lunch, you got a water bottle, you got your fruit, whatever. Oh, and don't forget to put mommy's gun in there for protection. That's never a question. I don't know what the family dynamics were. I don't know what their situation was, but how did this child in a 9mm,
Yes.
in a backpack?
That's what I was thinking too, because I mean, both of the schools that I attended in Chicago have metal detectors.
Yeah, well,
But
they will now.
yeah, and I don't want children not to go to school because it's a school. I wish that I could say that schools were safe, but I also, my first question was like, how did he even get this? Why wasn't it locked up somewhere? If this was a legally owned gun, which he said it was, why wasn't it locked up somewhere? Or why doesn't the child have the education at that age, since you see your mother with this child, to know not to be, not to touch it? So I don't know.
Yeah, what is the discussion?
There are some deep questions regarding parenting. If you had a problem with the teacher, where are your parenting skills regarding conflict resolution, that at 6 years old you make the decision to get a gun and shoot someone, and you know how to shoot it?
So remember last year in Michigan, a boy shot up the high school. And that same day, the mother had gone to the school to get him out of trouble. And there was a text exchange between them. I got you out of trouble. You better go back and do whatever you need to do, whatever the discussion was. So the parent knew this kid was troubled, knew that there were some issues there, and was still denying it, which led to the student going and shooting and wounding people. I don't understand this. I just don't understand this. I don't. Okay.
Because will it change if she ends up passing away? Like, in terms
right. Yeah. I think, Kwyn, that's when it'll go to another level, and the parent will be charged with this if she's not ultimately charged for attempted or something, because it's her weapon.
Yeah, I would be so scared to teach after this.
I'm telling you, and this is like the third shooting in that school district in the last year or so. A high school, a middle school, and now an elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah. And Virginia is no joke. I mean, we had the shooting of the football players there. We had the Walmart shooting just before Thanksgiving.
Don't they have open carry there?
I bet.
Yeah, well, you can just get a gun and walk around willy-nilly with it,
Yeah. And in Alabama now, you don't have to have a permit, by the way. Yeah. So there's that. I want to talk about some good news. A Black woman running, perhaps returning to the United States Senate, Congresswoman Barbara Lee of California, has told members of her Congressional Black Caucus that she's running for California's Senate seat next year in 2024. This is the seat that is currently held by Dianne Feinstein. And Dianne is 89 years old and doesn't appear to be going anywhere, Mrs. Feinstein. But this is a day after Katie Porter, another congresswoman from California, announced that she is going to run. She's a progressive, as is Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is also a pacifist. She is the one person who voted against the invasion of Afghanistan in 2001. The only person that voted against George W. Bush and the invasion of Afghanistan. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of her. She has represented the Oakland, Berkeley, and other parts of the Bay Area since 1998. Now, here's what I didn't know, because this is really proof that Black don't crack. Dianne Feinstein is 89. She will be 90 years old next year if she runs for re-election. People are telling her it's time for you to sit down, because she's shown signs of slowing down and maybe not being as mentally agile as she has been in the past.
People are probably scaring her.
Myra, just guess. You know who Barbara Lee is. If you saw her, you would not think that she's 76 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She looks 20 years younger.
Wow.
So she's getting up there too. But she is a force to be reckoned with. and her decision to share her intentions came a day after, as I mentioned, Katie Porter announced that Katie Porter got a lot of pushback on this. You choose today to announce it when your state is underwater,
Right.
and what are you doing about that? And another person who also may be running for that post, who's kind of bandied the idea about, is Schechter, who is Adam Schechter, who is on the January 6th committee, and he is a real enemy of the Republican Party. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. U.S. Attorney is reviewing documents marked classified from Joe Biden's vice presidency found at the Biden think tank. That's the first story that has been around for a couple of days. Fox News has just reported today that Biden aides discovered a second batch of classified documents at another location. They were also found at his private office located at the Penn Biden Center on Tuesday. Republicans and conservative media are blowing this up to be as big of a deal as the documents found on Trump property. So if you're going to have
the ones he stole and won't give back,
right,
okay.
But what they're saying, Myra, is these documents were found in the fall. He knew November 2nd and just announced it this week. So what happened in those 2 months? Why didn't you? Well, whatever it was, it's not as big of a deal for most people, but they're pushing the press to make it as big of a deal as with Donald Trump. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
They can push it all they want. They weren't stolen, and he's cooperating. They want to form a special committee now to investigate, and like this is really what we need to know. That and Hunter Biden's business,
right? Yeah, and the computer, yeah,
okay.
for sure. And to push abortion bills, which they were doing today, which even Republicans said, you guys are tone deaf. You don't get it. You absolutely don't get it. We messed up when we, pushed for the Supreme Court to take away women's rights. This is a Republican woman from South Carolina, and now you're pushing for these bills that, what you're doing is saying, see, look what we're doing, and you're not doing a damn thing because it's not going to go anywhere in the Democratic Senate.
Yep.
It's not going to go anywhere. This is good news. Damar Hamlin not only is home back in Buffalo, he's home. He was released from the Buffalo hospital 9 days in 2 hospitals. He walked back in, or maybe he rolled back into his home in Buffalo with his family. He went through a series of comprehensive medical evaluations, as well as a series of cardiac, neurological, and vascular testing in Buffalo. And the head, the critical care physician, said in a statement, we have completed a series of tests and evaluations, and in consultation with team physicians, we're confident Damar can safely be discharged to continue his rehabilitation at home and with the bills. I really hope that they don't push him, or that he pushes himself to the point. Yeah. I know they're in the playoffs, and he is an inspiration for all of them, but I hope nobody gets the bright idea. What if he just, suits up?
No.
What if he just, I really hope that they let him fully heal. And while I have you talking about this and his cardiac condition, Yolanda and Ward and I went through CPR training. And this is something that we're going to do and encourage other people to get CPR, hands-on CPR training in our partnership with the American Heart Association, because we just never know, in a moment's time, someone that we're in a room of strangers or with family and friends, someone could lose consciousness, and how to do that. And it really is, there's an art to it, to doing it, and how you do it. The amount of pressure that you put on, the how many compressions a minute, 100 to 120 compressions, the difference between a child and an adult, and things like that. So stay tuned. We're going to put that out, how we did that, and as well as continue to encourage people, along with the American Heart Association, to know CPR. And we're also going to be talking to an executive forum from the American Heart Association next week.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And wearing the red. I'm not sure she's a Delta, but she is wearing the red. And once again, happy anniversary to your sorority. Some of my best friends are Deltas, and I know the anniversary is 110 years on Friday.
Yes. Happy Founders Day, sorors. Friday, turn up, trunks up, trunks up.
What's your song? What's your song?
To be real. To
Oh,
be real.
Okay. All right.
We're the realists. I mean, we were the actual first sorority, founded, on Howard's campus. There were social clubs, before us, but
Right. Yeah. Sometimes the songs are different according to, you hear from different parts of the country, but yeah, got a little Cheryl Lynn, got to be real. All right. I think that's it for trending news, and let's move to entertainment. And just need to tell you that our friend Sherry Shepherd ain't going nowhere for a while. Yeah, I said double negatives, meaning she's staying in place. She has officially her show has been greenlit for 2 more seasons, covering the 2024 and 25 television seasons. Really happy for her and for our friend John Murray. She shared her excitement for even more laughs to come on Daytime Talk. She said, "I'm so thrilled that Sherry has been renewed for 2 more years. I launched the show with the mission to give daytime viewers a good time, just like her theme song says," and it is a really good theme song. She came about, the Sherry Show came about when Sherry, of course, began filling in for Wendy Williams, who was absent as the long-running Daytime Talk series was taken off the air. Then Sherry was born and took over the predecessor's previous time slot primarily on Fox stations. And congratulations also to Jennifer Hudson.
Yep.
The EGOT recently announced her talk show has been renewed for season 2. So Black Girl Magic all over the place. And Black Girl Magic on the Golden Globes as Niecy Nash announced last night in giving one of the awards. First of all, to the great and beautiful Angela Bassett for her win. And it was a first. It was a historic first for the Marvel comic series, right? And she won for Queen Ramunda. Is it Ramunda? And also Quinta Brunson. She can't do anything wrong these days.
I love it.
She won for her role as Janine, the young school teacher on Abbott Elementary. The show won for best series. And
the guy was I can't. Is it Tyler?
Tyler James Williams won for his best supporting against some real heavy duty actors, but he won a Golden Globe too. So
and also I just have to give a shout out to Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, I have not seen that show.
I haven't seen it, but
Everything Everywhere at One Time, something like that.
Yeah, everything all at once. I think.
Okay.
But I have been watching her as an actress for years, and I was surprised when she said she was 60 years old.
She said this is 60. I was like, go ahead.
Zendaya won a Golden Globe for Euphoria.
Oh yes.
That's right.
Thank you.
I had that on my list too. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And Regina Hall, I hope they give her a solo gig at some point, hosting one of those shows. I love her to death. I absolutely adore her. I think she's one of the funniest and just off the top of her head, kind of funny.
She couldn't keep a straight face.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Kevin really wanted to be here. They made me say this. It's on the
He's sheltering in place. We send you our prayers. But it was congratulations to all those folks. And Kwyn, let us know about your upcoming poetry slam in Cuba, and we wish you luck on that. Do we wish you luck? Do we say break a leg? Oh
yeah, wish me luck. Send all the affirmations, manifestations, all the snaps. Hopefully that they feel that they like my poetry, that their palate likes my poetry.
Okay. All right, cool. And get well wishes to your Ashley as well. All right, Myra, have fun with Jay, or try anyway. And everybody have a great weekend. Talk to you later.
Yes.
Aloha.
Be safe.